June 24th, 2026. For the first time in 126 years, Venezuela felt something it had forgotten was even possible, something that had been sleeping silently beneath their feet for over a century. The earth finally exhaled, not once, but twice, back to back, 39 seconds apart, and Venezuela would never be the same again. At exactly 6:04 p.m. local time, the earth beneath the Yaracuy state of northwestern Venezuela cracked open. A magnitude 7.2 earthquake erupted from deep below, violent, sudden, terrifying. But before anyone could even process what had happened, 39 seconds later, a second earthquake struck. This one was even bigger, magnitude 7.5. 39 seconds. That's barely enough time to stand up from your chair. The first quake was a foreshock, nature's cruel warning shot. The second was the main shock, and it became the strongest earthquake to hit Venezuela since the Great San Narciso earthquake of 1900, over 126 years ago. Two punches, back to back, and Venezuela never saw either one coming. To understand why this happened, we need to go deep, literally. Imagine the Earth's surface is not one solid shell, but a giant jigsaw puzzle made of massive slabs called tectonic plates. These plates are constantly moving, sometimes just a few centimeters per year. Most of the time you don't feel it, but when two plates grind against each other and suddenly slip, that energy releases in seconds. We call it an earthquake. Venezuela sits right at the boundary of two of these massive plates, the Caribbean plate and the South American plate. Northern Venezuela lies within a broad, compressional boundary zone between these two plates, rather than along a single clean fault line. Think of it like two cars slowly crashing into each other in slow motion for millions of years. The pressure builds and builds and builds until one day it just snaps. The main shock likely ruptured along the San Sebastian Fault, a massive crack in the Earth's crust that extends across a 150 by 20 kilometer area. That's roughly the size of a large city, all of it shifting violently in a matter of seconds. This same fault system has produced massive historical earthquakes in Venezuela before, in 1641, 1766, 1812, 1900, and 1967. This is not a new story. The Earth has been telling Venezuela the same warning for centuries. But this time, the consequences were catastrophic. Here's where the story gets even darker, and because the earthquake itself was only half the problem. Reason number one, it was shallow. Both earthquakes were shallow, approximately 10 to 22 kilometers deep. That might sound deep, but in geological terms, it's basically the Earth's surface. A shallow earthquake means the energy travels upward with almost nothing to absorb it. It hits buildings and people with full, raw, unfiltered force. A deeper quake loses energy before it reaches the surface. These ones didn't. Reason number two, the worst timing imaginable. Because June 24th is a national holiday in Venezuela, most people were at home instead of at work when the earthquake struck. Office buildings, which are often built stronger than homes, were empty, but houses, apartments, old residential buildings, they were packed with families. When the buildings collapsed, they didn't collapse on empty desks, they collapsed on people. Reason number three, buildings that were never built to survive this. Venezuela's economic crisis over the last decade has been well documented. Infrastructure has crumbled. Maintenance has been ignored. Many buildings in cities like Caracas and La Guaira were aging structures with little to no earthquake-resistant design. Recovery is going to be a long-term struggle, especially coming from a situation of very limited social services, very limited public infrastructure, and years of financial and economic challenges. When the shaking started, these buildings didn't sway and survive. They fell. As of June 26th, Venezuela's National Assembly confirmed 920 people dead and over 3,360 injured. More than 50,000 people were reported missing. But experts warn those numbers could climb far higher. The USGS pager system estimated a 43% probability that the final death toll would fall between 10,000 and 100,000, and a 22% probability it could exceed 100,000. The ground is silent once again. But deep beneath Venezuela, the tectonic plates are still moving. No one can predict when the next major earthquake will strike. But history reminds us that this won't be the last. The next earthquake could happen years from now or decades later. The only thing humanity can control is how prepared it will be, because earthquakes are inevitable, but disasters don't have to be. The Earth never stops moving. If you enjoy informative videos like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing stories from around the world.